Hi everybody. Hi everybody, it's your friend Daniel Hutchins. We are back again for another late night video. So, what's happening? I'll tell you what's happening. What's happening is we are doing a bunch of new stuff and updates for you from yours truly here at Hutchins Hut. So, what are we going to be talking about right now? Well, I'm glad you came because you guys came to the right place. Okay? Okay. So, yes, and I also have a drink on the floor next to my bed, and yes, there is a top on it. So you guys don't have to worry about none now because I'm completely fine. Yes, I'm freaked out, insecure, neurotic, and emotional. Okay, we are logging on to my computer as Catwoman is about to open up her junk up to me, and so now we are going to open up another window. Yeah, we're gonna open up another window. Yeah, we're gonna open up a new window, and we're gonna close off this Microsoft News window that we don't need no more. That we don't need no more. Yeah, we don't need that no more. Okay, so it is currently 54 degrees outside here in the Quirky. It is 54 degrees outside and it's mostly clear and cloudy outside. There is a 4% rain chance tonight here in the Quirky. Okay, so we are going over to our friend's comic book resource. Yes, our friend comic book resource. Here, the world's top destination for all comic books. Okay, so what are we going to be telling you guys about today? Okay, we're going to be talking about the boys. Yeah, the boys. So me and the boys, we thought we saw a real skeleton. Alright, so me and the boys. I'm talking about me and the boys. Okay, me and the boys, yeah, there's a spin-off, and it just received some very bad updates. The TV spin-off is now apparently not going to have any more seasons. Yep, they will not have any more seasons. In fact, the creator has said so himself for numerous different reasons. One of it is because of Soldier Boy, and other reasons, mostly because people are craving for new things and new content, even though we know The Boys is a 9.2 out of 10 on the Metacritic. So yeah. Anyway, even though critics really like The Boys, and we really like The Boys, I'm going to let you guys know that yes, The Boys is still a very popular franchise, despite the fact that their sequels and their spin-offs are not that good. In fact, their spin-offs are terrible. Okay. We want to clear you guys up on the fact that Robin is confirmed in the next Batman movie. And you want to know which one? Well, I'm glad you came to the right place. Because there will be Robin in the next Batman movie. At least to some degree. Yes, the absolute Batman is now about to have another Robin in his next story. Although, this will happen in the comic books. And again, this is from our friends, the League of Comic Book Geeks, aka the idea of this absolute Batman now says, reports are now saying there's going to be a Robin. Yep, there's going to be a Robin. And they say, hey, which one? Well, considering Robin has been done 4 different times, and Batman has 4 sons, yeah, again, from our friends, the Bleeding Cool, they also said they have confirmed that Poison Ivy and Scarecrow are also confirmed to play in this series, and they have an interesting idea for the future of Scarecrow and Poison Ivy. Scarecrow is different because he has a very terrible toxin, unlike, monsters like Mr. Freeze and the Joker, who are also very terrifying. And we also know Poison Ivy loves to kiss Batman and tries to poison him, but then she fails every time, and she fails at it miserably. Okay, so the Absolute Universe was better than the mainline books? Well, I care to disagree. Mostly because, I don't know, the sometimes older is better. That's my defense. Sometimes older is better. I don't have to explain why, unless your name is Mr. or Mrs. I am stupid. Okay, so now we are going back to our friend on Comic Book Resources, the homepage, and seeing what else there is to talk about. Okay, since we talked about the boys, and we talked about Robin being in the next Batman books, or Batman stories, okay, alright, so what are we talking about next? Well, that's an excellent question. And boy oh howdy, we have some stuff for you. Yes, we have lots of stuff for you. Okay. Next, we're going to be talking about, let's see, if I can find something. Did you know that Captain Kirk from Star Trek has his own forbidden romance from the original series? Yes, Captain Kirk, who we know is played by the great William Shatner, he has a forbidden Star Trek romance on the original series back in the 1960s. In this episode we call the Beg, Steal, and Borrow, this is an episode from the original Star Trek. Back in the original Star Trek series, with Captain Kirk, as we know, played by the great William Shatner. And let me trust you guys, again, William Shatner is very much still around. Despite the fact he's very old now, yes, he's still around. So, again, from our writers and friends of the Star Trek series, they say, complimentary to this, the Paramount name and the executive people at IDW Publishing now have this deal where Star Trek comic books and their license to Paramount will still continue to this day. Again, with their special novel story called The Last Starship was also a very big swing into sci-fi. It's very cool how the freedom of Paramount is given IDW Publishing the rights for their titles. Despite the fact that decades ago, this was happened in another great guy named Peter David, and how his different take and situation on the Star Trek franchise from the 80s and 90s. And yes, David would even make a change to that, as we know, who is the love interest to Captain Kirk. And David has dropped who that is. Who was R.J. Blaze in Star Trek? Again, they keep saying in the volumes of the Star Trek series, which again happened in 1989, which is a bunch of loose canon. And again, earlier Star Trek movies, namely where James Kirk was again promoted to captain, and then basically was still in charge of the Enterprise. And in Star Trek 3, one of my favorite movies, The Search for Spock, it does not dissolve the fact that the Klingons were not that pleased with Captain Kirk, again for the number of times the Klingons appeared in the film. Albeit the fact that the opening scene we saw Captain Kirk run afoul again with another alien race, as well as reading the Starfleet and USS Enterprise underneath very, very, very bad protocol and dangerous situations that again are abided by the Starfleet, and if need be to control the situation to overthrow Kirk. Kirk, Spock, and Dr. McCoy all awaited in the arrival of R.J. Blaze. She is a new protocol officer, as they said, and she's very attractive and very, very hot looking. So, not a man as they had suspected. Despite the very fact in the next book, Captain Kirk tries to impress her by showing off the fight that he can fight. And she was still not impressed by it, and instead talks to Dr. McCoy instead. Okay. However, she is still surprised to see how loyal the rest of the crew was to Captain Kirk, even when Spock was giving her the roundabout about sending her to the deck just to mess with her. I mean, psychologically mess with her. Okay? These sorts of back and forth bitters have continued throughout the next book of the series. In fact, of course, during the whole entire book, she also does her actual job and has set Captain Kirk off on many of his decisions. The banter and the fighting continues in the next book, and the next book, and the next book, and gives off very much some sexual attraction. Sexual attraction most foul. In the next book, they are captured by bounty hunters, where Captain Kirk then has to come up with an escape plan and gets the kiss from her instead to place off of it. Captain Kirk is then put on trial for his crime against the Klingon Empire, and from that point he was holden into a jail cell awaiting for a trial, and Blaze discussed her feelings on why she fucking loves Kirk. Okay, so even though they argue during the whole entire fucking story, they still draw the book regardless anyway, and all the others see as to why this love has happened in the fucking first place. In the end of Star Trek number 12, Captain Kirk was also been cleared from his trial and assumes it means that he is no longer a need to be an officer assigned to the USS Enterprise, and as shocked as he was when she had turned out to still be assigned to his ship, the Enterprise. Okay, why did Peter David have to write this book and have her out of the series? Well, it's simple. Mostly because, again, she's trying to overthrow Kirk off the Enterprise. Just because she wanted to call the fucking shots. Again, she wanted to call the fucking shots. And because she wanted to call the fucking shots and throw Captain Kirk underneath the fucking bust of fucking controversy and have his ass be fucking run over by a fucking tractor beat, mowing his ass down into fucking space and all to hell and oblivion, that just goes to tell you that she had to get removed from the book. About the fact that she's a bitch and she tried to fucking play Captain Kirk in ways that are very most dirty and most foul. David has ultimately decided to just quit the series altogether and deal with his consequences years later. And after Roddenberry had died, they had to let go of it for Paramount. So then they had to go back to the book and do a one-shot of it many years later, and it is covered in comic book legends. That, again, this is the reason why Star Trek 3 was very frustrating. If you have any suggestions on this, let us know on comicbookresources.com underneath the comments of Captain Kirk's Forbidden Love from Star Trek. Okay, so somebody just said dead ass no new season of The Boys. Not gonna lie, this is very informative. And yeah, I know. Yes, there are no more seasons of The Boys, because The Boys are pretty much all the way down to their end of their lifetime. Yes, The Boys on Amazon Prime are all the way down and off of their future, because again, when I told you guys the terrible news about how their spin-off shows tend to reflect on the fact that they are very awfully scripted and very terrible and very badly made. So again, I did that. I also told you guys about Robin, and I told you guys about some Star Trek. So what else is going on, guys? What else? You want to know what else? I'll tell you just one more thing. Okay? One more thing. But I'll find it. Don't worry. Don't worry, guys. I'll just tell you one more thing. Okay. So what is that the one thing going to be? Before I let you guys go from that. There is one more thing I'm going to tell you about, and yes, it is going to be a good thing as long as I find it. Okay? November 13th will be a very good day for the fans of Naruto. You know why November 13th will be a good day for Naruto? I'm about to tell you. November 13th will be a great day for Naruto and all the fans who follow him. And I'm going to tell you why. Because Naruto fans in North America will have a lot to look forward to in the month of November. There is going to be a special show that's going to hit the United States next month for the very first time. And it will have a Japanese rock band. They will have one of the most iconic theme songs ever in this new Naruto-themed world tour. From this announcement, we say this tour will basically be around Naruto as they celebrated on November the 13th. This tour promises a set composed of new songs and new band tracks, along with other popular hits from the franchise, the guaranteed song favorites, and many, many more. They announced a whole entire schedule of it, Flow Naruto The Rock World Tour 2025. And yes, it is, really, really big if you love Naruto. The North American leg of the stage of the World Tour will follow after the run they have in Europe, which has already had commenced on October the 12th. Their performance in London, and again the band will perform later in the United States and later in Canada, also more specifically in Montreal, and the tickets will also be available online for your purchase with additional feedback and additional notice feedback. The band has also said that they are looking for a bassist. However, their team is able to still do the tour, despite the fact that some of them are trying to recover. Performances will still be carried out with the 4 remaining band members, and there is a schedule for the North America tour as follows. Montreal, Philadelphia, Boston, New York, Washington, D.C., Toronto, Chicago, Cleveland, Denver, Vancouver, Seattle, Portland, San Jose, Phoenix, Anaheim, Dallas, San Antonio, and lastly, Orlando. This is a contribution to all the people that love Naruto and their franchise and their fandom. And with this band, they're having this very special show again here in North America. So again, it's a 5-member band, but because one of them is not doing well, they have the 4 members still there, like I've told you like a few minutes ago. Also, they're also going to have other anime series there as well. They're going to have 7 Deadly Sins, they're going to have Dragon Ball Z, and a bunch of other 20th anniversary versions of their song from the Naruto franchise, their official theme song, and also their now infamous anniversary episodes will also be released, with alluding to the fans that they will be the largest Naruto tour ever. The biggest anime tour across 2024 to 2025, also across Australia, North America, Europe, South America, and Asia. The only continent you don't have is Africa. Because I don't know, I guess Africa doesn't make the cut, apparently. So that's it, guys, and I'll see you next episode of The Hut.